Greetings, everybody. This is Chuck Palm, and welcome to the Top Tech Talk Show. I have somebody that I've known for a long time. I know that's a shock because it seems like everybody I brought on the show is I've known for a long time. But Dusty has this way of putting things that I really enjoy. Dusty, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chuck. Happy to be here.
All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it. What the heck are you doing with crypto, man? Every time I talk to you, you got some new cool thing to tell me about, and I'm supposed to be the tech expert, you know. Tell me what's going on. How did you first break into it?
I wanted to get into Bitcoin probably around 2013.
I wish.
I'm like, what is this? I'm hearing about it. And I started looking at it, and the way I understood it in my non-techie mind, it was, well, you got to take a piece of paper with these numbers and letters and meet some guy in a parking lot and give him some money. And I'm like, I don't know if this is for me.
But he never took the hoodie off, right? It was
correct.
Always, yeah.
Just I saw some shadow in there, and but I never took that step, and now obviously I wish I did. But I started around late 2016, 17. It's kind of a blur, It was different back then, and it's gone so fast, but it's also dragged out because crypto just creates you're always waiting for something.
Right.
And so, but back then I picked up a Bitcoin, $4,500, give or take, and Ethereum at, I don't even remember, like $85.
Wow, yeah.
Litecoin, and there are people that got in way cheaper than that. Mm-hmm. But I look at it now, and those are pretty good prices. And then I bought some XRP. I was starting to hear about that. And
just real quick, what is XRP? Why is it different?
As far as developers, there's a lot of relationships. So people have gone from one to the other to make one a better project. So XRP it's my understanding, came before all them, but Bitcoin is really the
popular one. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I looked at XRP is I saw who they were sitting at, what table they were sitting at. And
so who's with them at that table? The other developers?
Developers and partners and banks.
Right.
And banks is an evil word in crypto, but you have to face the facts. Banks are going to be involved.
IRS is going to get their cut one way or another.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when you look at who's going to sit at the table with who, at the same time, Bitcoin is saying down with the bankers and we're our own thing. And I didn't see that as reality. The bankers they're going to get their cut. And I think that's what the fight is about right now is the bankers want their cut.
So you have a pretty deep history in investing in various cryptos. Those are all blockchain technologies. It's been around about almost 14 years. Today we're hearing more and more about Hedera and Hashgraph networks. They are still a digital ledger network. And the way that they work is very much blockchain-like, but that's a no-no. We can't call them a blockchain because the graph network works a whole lot differently. Now, without getting in real technical, I always put the flashing sign up here, the big technobabble. We're doing no technobabble. A hash graph network is just a different ledger network, but it's still the same kind of crypto technology. You are somebody that is early investor in the HBAR, which is their coin from Hedera, that lives on the Hashgraph network. Tell me a little bit about why you got into that.
I'm not the tech guy, so I look at, again, who are they sitting down with and who are they running with and where are the developers coming from and who are the developers. And the two main guys are doxed, which means you know who they are. There's a lot of projects where you don't know who the people are, and you really want to be putting your money in projects where you don't know who people are. So, because those people can easily disappear, and it happens quite often. But with Hedera, that was what I first saw as people that I respect starting to talk about it. So I bought some, started following it, and now it's who are they sitting at the table with?
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of partners. A lot of people are real interested in Hedera or HBAR.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I look at is what kind of news is coming out. Are they developing?
So you mentioned not just people, but even corporations. And the interesting thing about the Hashgraph Council is the level of players that are at that table, and they're not bankers.
No.
And that really surprised me because you see a lot of bankers trying to put their fingers into the blockchain and get a little handle on what's going on.
Right.
But with Hashgraph, that's completely, they still want to remain decentralized. And that's key when you start talking about any kind of altcoin network, whether it's even Ethereum. Blockchain is universally accepted as a Bitcoin-based network, which is hands-off, meaning no centralized banking allowed, right? But Ethereum's kind of leaning that way. And there's other Ethereum-like projects that are saying, hey, we'll be a stable coin for the government and come on in and we'll manage it for you. That scares the hell out of blockchain guys.
And the problem is you don't know what's true. And we found out recently that JP Morgan has roots to Ethereum from back like 2014.
Wow.
At the same time, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan was saying Bitcoin is horrible. If anybody buys it, I'm going to fire him. But he's already got his hands in there. And we also know that the Homeland Security interviewed Satoshi Nakamoto, which was 4 guys. The videos are easy to find.
Right.
But that's a little secret about Bitcoin too. So you can believe what they're telling you, or you can believe what they're doing.
Sure.
And that again goes back to these other projects like Hashgraph, and you can see who are they running with and who are they not commingling with.
That's the thing. I think the company you keep says everything about the project. It says everything about the technology and the fact that they are a governing council. They're all volunteers.
Yeah.
There's not huge salaries for sitting on the council and managing the Hedera Hashgraph, and I'm a fan. Obviously, I've brought it up a couple of times already, and people comment about what Hedera is doing and why the graph network is so appealing. But how's HBAR been performing?
It depends on how you look at it. I think it's been performing great, but the price is down significantly.
Right.
So that means buy.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's you regret when the price goes up. You regret that you didn't buy more when it was down.
Yeah.
But the challenge is getting over the fear of it's going to keep going down. But if you believe in the project, that's a blessing when it goes down.
Sure.
And it's down now, but it'll be up.
I took notes because I'm a fan and I'm a fan of yours. But more importantly, I think that there's things that we need to talk about how it handles NFTs. I'm not going to put you on the spot because that's more techie stuff. But when you look at the comparison, just purely cost, if I go to an Ethereum network and I want to buy an NFT and I go to OpenSea.io or any of the other major sites, I'm in for a few bucks before I even get a digital copy.
Yeah.
So I have to pay the gas fees, which are basically, creation fees. I've got to pay, OpenSea to actually mint the NFT.
It's brutal.
It's horrible. And I'm, for that $16 experience, I got one.
Right.
When I look at Hashgraph and how you do this on HBAR, you still have to buy HBAR to make your NFT.
Sure.
I can make 1,000.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, let's talk a moment real quick, because the next thing about it was, what's the difference? Why is that a benefit over the blockchain? And I'm preaching here to the initiated. A blockchain network is inherently slower on purpose so that it can be verified. That's the process of actually rewarding those people who verify the blockchain. And that's where you're mining your coin, all right? The HBAR network is microseconds, and it comes out that fast. So when you're buying NFTs and when you're looking at where to keep them and make them live happily ever after, how much investment are you really willing to put into that, document that says, here's a serialized token, it's yours forever, pony up. Right? I could buy 1,000, or I think even more now that the price is down. Yeah. You can buy considerably more NFTs on the Hashgraph network.
Sure. And there's a lot of different ways to buy them too, and you can. I might be jumping ahead, but you can.
Please, that's where we're at.
Yeah. So Pangolin is a platform that I use to stake multiple coins, but Hashgraph is one of them.
Yeah.
And they create an NFT, and they say this is your APY, your annual percentage yield.
Right.
And sometimes it's 2%, sometimes it's 600%.
Wow.
There's some buyer beware in there, so
of
you
course.
have to know what's going on. But basically, you stake your Hashgraph, you get an NFT for that, and then that just automatically pays out. So, so there's a lot of different ways that you can work with it. NFTs are very versatile.
I think the attraction there is, when we talk about why things are slowed down on the blockchain, and it's a safety feature, and I understand that. And when we have more safety and security on a Hashgraph, and it's faster and cheaper, what's the downside?
Probably just market adoption,
right?
But when you compare it to Ethereum, Ethereum's no joke. When I was in some node platforms before, and I was paying $1,200 transaction fees in Ethereum.
Wow!
And when the market's going up 10,000%, people will pay that. But once this market matures, people aren't going to pay that anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to look at paying a 1/10 of a cent or 100th of a cent, whatever these other things are offering.
I think that's a great point, Dusty. Do you have any other advice? I never tell people use my show as investing advice. I'm not an investment guy. I'm telling you right up front. But as far as the novice getting into it for the first time, not like buy plenty of this, and you'll be a billionaire.
Right.
Tell me what you think about how to enter this field.
Well, I mean, and what you said is true. I tell people I'm a squirrel trapper. That's how I made my money, is catching animals and killing.
All right, give me 30 seconds on what that means.
Well, but what that means is I build a company that allows me to that works on its own. So I get to follow the news all day long.
Cool.
I get to follow projects. I get to learn new things, and I get to do research. So the biggest thing is do your research. If you have a funny feeling about something, don't do it.
Right.
If you don't know who's doing it, don't do it. And it's not all about Bitcoin. And I've got Bitcoin, but there's so many other things other than Bitcoin.
You mentioned XRP. We brought up HBAR.
Yeah.
Is there just a third player that you'd throw out there and take a look at? Do some research.
There's XDC.
XDC?
XDC.
Okay.
Algorand is another one. There's ISO 20020 coins. So these are coins or protocols that need to be compliant going into the...
I love that you said ISO. That's very cool, because I worked in the certifications. Understand what that means. That's great stuff.
Well, that's what, I mean, if you want to feel good about what you're getting, look at coins that are listed on that. That's not a guarantee that they're going to do well, but it's a good idea that they're a respected project.
And they're following the rules.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with, a lot of these projects. Yeah. Who's following the rules? Who's going to come out on top at the end? You don't know, but it's much better to go with a company that says, hey, we all agreed to these rules, and then you stick to them. And the minute you see that they're not, something hinky's happening.
And they're coming after the rule breakers.
Yes, they are.
That's the big thing, is get into something that's safe.
Very cool.
As far as the SEC and FCC and everything.
Yeah. So, what's the biggest concern you have with SEC and the government? Where are they headed right now? And you're saying that's not for me.
The SEC is not working in the country's best interest. It's clear, and this itself could be a 4-hour conversation.
Right.
They're not working in our best interest, our country's best interest. So I don't know where it's all going, but hopefully some things will get cleaned out. Congress is they're tweeting really mean. They said they said they're going to clean things up. But at this point, we don't know. They're going after things that just don't make sense, and they're celebrating busting Kim Kardashian. Meanwhile,
a paid celebrity endorsement, and you're going to waste time and money on that. It blew my mind.
Yeah, and blowing kisses at SBF, Maxine Waters, and Gary Gensler of the SEC. He was meeting with Sam Bankman consistently, and Sam's going to go to prison, and Gary Gensler, he knew it.
Right.
I mean, there's no way he didn't know. He's either incompetent or corrupt.
It almost smells like a fall guy. I don't want to say it, but it could be that kind of scenario.
I'm not saying anything. But,
all right, before we go down the rabbit hole, I got to take my tinfoil hat off and say, Dusty, thanks so much for your time,
it's my pleasure.
It is absolutely wonderful to have you on, and we're going to follow up with you probably in a couple of months and see how things are checking in, because we got a lot of great topics that this guy can give me some fun times on. Everybody, thank you so much again for watching. My name is Chuck Palma, and you can always find us at thetoptechshow.com and soon, the Top Tech Minute. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.